My toxic trait is that thinking I can read 10 emotionally heavy books back to back this fall. So let's talk about it in my fall TBR, aka a list of books that will probably emotionally destroy me. Okay, the next book is The Red City by Mary Lou. This is a dystopian fantasy, and I think it's been so long since I've read a dystopian, so it might be time. This is about a world, it's an urban fantasy set in the heart of Los Angeles, and we are dealing with two gangs. Sam, the daughter of a poor single mother, of course, would do anything for this power and dreams of reaching the high ranks of Grand Central. Ari, taken away from his family, becomes an apprentice for the Lumens. For years, alchemy has been controlled by two gangs, the Grand Central and the Lumens, who have been balancing on a thin line of political negotiation and outright violence. And is one of the brightest in the gangs. Once the two might have loved each other, now they are enemies on the opposite sides of a war. And it seems no transformation is perfect enough for them to survive what is coming. This is an urban fantasy filled with political intrigue, a dystopian kind of setting, almost futuristic, and yeah, an arrival situation. I can't wait to get to this one. I think it just sounds very different. I don't read a lot of dystopian-ish or urban fantasies, so this would be a nice change from what I normally read. I just read like high fantasy. That's basically all I read. So this would be a nice change, and I can't wait to see what this has in store. Next, we have a cozy fantasy that is kind of perfect for the fans of practical magic. I actually haven't read it. I'm saying I'm a fan because I've seen snippets of the movie and I need to watch that and also read the book. But it seems right up my alley, both practical magic and this book, which is The Glowing Hands of Lin Wu by Mindy Hung. My voice is slowly disintegrating, so let's keep this moving. Lin's hands start glowing at the most inconvenient times, and she doesn't know why. Is it because of menopause, stress, hallucination, or lack of sleep? Me trying to figure out why I have a headache. Her daughter is off to university in a few months, and their complicated relationship keeps getting more complicated. Plus, a younger man has taken a fancy to our girl. Lean's hands, glowing or not, are clearly very full, as insomnia plagues the town and a life-threatening plague starts to spread. Lean learns she's part of a long line of women who possess a power unlike anything she's ever known. And as her town goes into turmoil, she must decide what she's going to do with this power, and if her glow means something more. This just sounds like a cozy fantasy, and I feel like you need one of those. You need a few of those sprinkled in throughout the year, throughout the season. And I feel like this is just exactly that. I can totally picture myself just curling up to a warm cup of tea with this. I have my tea right here, actually. Okay, curling up in bed with this book, with a warm cup of tea, and I feel like it would just be perfect. I feel like it's just no season is better than this for witches and glowing hands and wizards and all of that good stuff. And this TBR is getting me so excited. Next, we have a fantasy that is pretty much typical. This is exactly what I like to read. This is my kind of book. I hope my mic isn't, I hope it's okay. This is what I read on a daily basis, regardless of season, weather, timing, etc. I read fantasy, I read high fantasy, and if it has vampires, werewolves, or anything of that sort, sign me up.
I don't even know who I'm talking to. You're a killer. A cold-blooded killer.
As opposed to a peace-loving killer.
I know what I saw.
You think you know.
Do you? Wait, you can see this guy?
Of course she can. She's a witch.
We Who Will Die by Stacia Stark is right up my alley. This is a fantasy inspired by a Roman world where vampires rule mercilessly. In the Thorn district, living is a daily fight for Arville and her brothers. That is until a vampire comes knocking on their door and changes everything. Faced with an unthinkable choice, Arville, our girl, makes a disastrous decision to make a magical binding bow to do the impossible, kill the Emperor, which is a really old vampire. Picture old man but vampire. Which makes it worse because vampires, I'm pretty sure, are immortal. But first, she must enter the Sundering, which is kind of like a Hunger Games-esque competition. It's an arena where only the deadliest survive. And with her brother's lives on the line, she has no choice but to become allies with the man who broke her heart, who is also the son of the emperor, Rorik. So basically Hunger Games-esque vampires, and since I love both, I am ready to devour this one. Like, I devoured, that was not okay. Now let's talk about all the rom-coms I want to get to this season, and we are starting off with a Catherine Center read. I absolutely love The Bodyguard, and so I will be reading Catherine Center pretty much every month now, and the book that I chose is Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I don't know why, maybe it's the cover, maybe the blue cover, but it's just giving fall, wintery vibes, and I feel like it will be perfect for this season. In this book, love literally becomes very blurry, and our main girl, Sadie, pretty sure, Sadie Montgomery, Sadie Montgomery never saw this coming. One minute she's celebrating at North American Portrait Society to the finale, and the next she's in a hospital diagnosed with a temporary issue called facial blindness, where she can see faces, they just don't look quite right. They're like pieces that don't really fit. And to make things worse, she's an artist, so this already is pretty bad. Like, she needs to be able to see. On top of that whole catastrophe, we have two men who she becomes involved with and can't really see. What is Catherine Center going to do with this? I don't know, but I've heard great things, and so I need to pick it up. And I feel like it fits the fall vibe. Somehow, in my brain, it fits. It makes sense. Next, we have Good Spirits by B.K. Borison, and if you have you've probably heard of her book, I think it's called First Time Color, went viral last year, and so our girl is back with a cozy autumnal rom-com, and it sounds so good. I think this is the book that I'm most excited for in this section, like in the rom-com section. And so yeah, we have Noah Callahan, who is a spirit who kind of just wants to get to afterlife, but he has, I think, one last assignment, and that is our main girl, Hannah. Nope, not Hannah, Harriet. Noah Callahan just wants to get to afterlife, and this season, like every season, he does what he does best, and that is haunting. Harriet, our main girl, is very confused. She is a people pleaser. She is good to her core, and she has no idea why anyone would want to haunt her. She's a good person and always does what's expected, and this doesn't make any sense. She's a little bit... But as she and Nolan discuss their past, she finds that there's a thread that connects them together. And will they be able to find the key to their futures in each other's pasts? Nolan, all of a sudden, finds himself wanting and wishing for a future here on Earth. This is going to be complicated. This is going to be ridiculous. I'm here for the giggles. While I'm here, I want to read how this is going to work. We are now going to be talking about the thriller/mystery books on this TBR. First up being The Killer Question by Janice Hallett. Normally, when it comes to thrillers and mysteries, I don't read too many of them, but this one just has a really interesting premise, and it sounds like the way the story is going to be told is very unique and different, and so I'm intrigued. This mystery takes place at a pub where the stories and the pieces are unveiled through trivia questions, quiz categories, phone messages, and email correspondence. Sue and Mal run a pub. That is until a dead body shows up near the river near their pub. This paired with the mysterious arrival of a new team that is somehow winning all the trivia quizzes, all the trivia games, plus scoring full marks in all the quizzes. Meanwhile, Sue and Mal have their own secrets that have finally caught up to them, and 5 years later, their nephew decides to create a documentary to figure out what really happened in this pub. Interesting, and I like the setup. I haven't heard of anything kind of like this, and it seems fun. It seems unique, and I want to pick this up. Next, we have a book that I actually have started reading and absolutely love, and that is Bright Young Woman by, one second, I'm gonna just put it here because I don't remember. It's Saturday in Florida in 1978, and a man, a serial killer, fully armed, breaks into a female dormitory at a uni and kills and murders a bunch of girls. He will soon be known as the most famous or infamous serial killer in all of America, and maybe just in history in general. But he was observed committing his crime. The survivors, including the key witness Pamela Scotchamer, I butchered her name, will be the key witnesses. The key witnesses will forever be changed by this night. They tell their perspectives in different chapters, and here they remain masters of their own story. And so they decide to hunt this perpetrator killer on their own, despite backlash from the justice system, from the media, and against public opinion, who idolizes this mass murder. If you can tell, is kind of based on a true story, and it's just so raw. It's so raw, it's so real, it's so impactful. It's not these weird plot twists and oh, how did this happen? Like, it's thrilling because it's so real, and I have chills in my bones every time I read it, and it's so good. I highly recommend it. Next, we have Trees by Percival Everett. When a pair of FBI detectives arrive in Mississippi to solve a mass murder case, they find at each crime scene a second unsuspected body, and this body resembles a man called Emmett Till. After meeting resistance from the coroner, the deputy, the justice system, and a string of racist white townsfolk, the FBI suspect that these are killings of retribution, A.K.A. revenge. Then they discover eerily similar murders taking place in rapid succession all over the country. The past, it seems, refuses to be buried, and an uprising has started. This seems insane, and obviously it is incredible. It went viral a few years ago, I think, and I don't know, something about it has got me hooked in. Like, I want to know what happens, and this is why it's on this TBR. Next, we have the classic, starting with Little Woman by Louisa May Alcott. I don't even have to talk about this one. You already know why it's on this list. No season, I think, is more perfect for books revolving around sisterhood, going from like childhood to adulthood and womanhood. And I think, and just the challenges that come with life and growing up, I feel like coming of age stories, which this one kind of is, are so perfect for this season. And And so here we're following four sisters, the March sisters, as they go from childhood, kind of adolescence, to womanhood / adulthood, and all the challenges that come with that, and just love, sisterhood, friendship, family, and all of that, and how it works. And I haven't read this one, and I just need to. Like, I feel like I want to watch the movie, and I can't read a book. I can't watch a movie until I've read the book, so I have to read it now. Next we have Only Dull People Are Brilliant at Breakfast by Oscar Wilde. This one I'm actually halfway through because we are well into fall, and it is just so good. I'm so glad I picked it up. If you aren't a fan of classics, or if you don't know if you would like Oscar Wilde's work, I highly recommend it because it's only, I think, 30 or 50 pages, and it's just short and sweet, and it's filled with all of these opinions regarding all of these different topics about humanity, human nature, society. He just manages to get his message across with such a punch, and it's in just a few lines. Like, it's not long or in depth, but it makes you reflect. Like, I sat there thinking about what he meant, and I loved it. I'm still reading it, but I absolutely love it, and I just think it's perfect. I just think it's a nice book to get through, and it's interesting. So next we have some contemporary / historical fiction, and that is Franknestein in Baghdad. This one I am so excited for. This concept just sounds like everything I'd want in a book. And I really, again, think this is one of those books that will change my life. This is a story about an oddball, Hadi, who is living in a US occupied Baghdad. It's a time of turbulence, and Hadi decides to create a corpse by joining the body parts of all the people who have been blown up by these bombs. And he decides to sew all these body parts together to create a corpse that he would show the government and be like, hey, this is the damage you are doing. Everything is going to plan, surprisingly, until the body goes missing, and soon after, a wave of eerie murders follow through. Hadi realizes he has created a monster with a thirst for revenge. The monster has been let loose. And the concept of this and the twist on Franknestein, I want to know. Like, I am hooked, I'm intrigued, and I want to know what happens. Next, we have To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. And this is kind of a crossover of historical fiction x classic. And yeah, you've probably already read it. If you were in high school, you probably read it in English class. I haven't read it, and I have always been intrigued by it. The concept of racism, virtue, prejudice, and a white lawyer trying to save or prove that a black man is innocent, and that story just being told through a young girl's eyes has always intrigued me. How would that work, and what would that look like? About racism, prejudice, and just, I think it's set in the, obviously, 1900s. I think the 1980s. Let me double check. It's set in the South of America, and it's a remarkable coming-of-age tale with a focus on racial discrimination, brutality, prejudice, and virtue. Yeah, and I just think it's time I pick this up. Like, I feel like it would teach me a lot. I feel like books like this really changed my life, so that is why it's on this list. Back from a quick snack break, and now let's continue. I'm pretty sure we were on the historical fiction section, so let's continue with that. Next book we are going to talk about is A Thousand Splendid Suns by Khaled Hosseini. Listen, everybody and their mother who reads Litfic has read this book, except me. And I read The Kite Runner and it destroyed me, and I didn't want to go through that pain again, which is why I haven't picked this up. Also because my sister read it and said that it's really sad, and my sister has a higher sad tolerance than me. So if she thinks it's really sad, it's going to break me. But this is what fall is for. So in this book we are following, I think, two generation of women. I need to look down at my notes. In this tale, we are following two women finding comfort in their sisterhood as death and destruction take over their homes. Maryam is only 15 when she's sent to Kabul to marry the troubled and bitter Rashid, who is 30 years older than her. 20 years later, in the climate of unrest, tragedy strikes the home of Layla, a 15-year-old girl who is then sent to live with Maryam and join Maryam's unhappy household. Layla and Maryam find consolation and comfort in their sisterhood, a bond that becomes more like that of a mother and a daughter. As Taliban continues to rule over Afghanistan, the streets of Kabul become filled with loud sounds of gunfire, violence, unrest, and rebellion. Life becomes a desperate struggle against starvation, fear, brutality, and women's endurance is tested beyond imagination. Yet love can move people to act in incredible ways to overcome the most daunting of experiences. It's gonna break me, and goes back to that link of sisterhood, family. Like, books like that, like I said, are just perfect for the fall time. And so I'm hoping I can get to this one too. I feel like the more I record, I realize how many intense books I've put in here. I don't know if I'm gonna get to all of them. I will try, though. I will try my best. Next, we have the contemporary fiction section, starting with Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This is a book that I'm currently in the midst of, and I am really enjoying it. However, it is definitely a heavier read. Like, I did not expect every single character to have some sort of trouble or problem. And so that's a lot. And in this book, we're following a whole cast of characters. This book is about a town, a rural town called Beartown that is kind of in the midst of nowhere. And this town's economy, livelihood, reputation depends on hockey, specifically the junior high school hockey team that has, for the first time in a long time, made it to the semifinals. But what happens when the pressure becomes too much for these teenagers to bear and a tragedy strikes this town? I'm at the part where the tragedy is about to strike, and it hurts. It hurts. It's definitely a heavier read. Not that I don't love it. I absolutely do love it so far, and I think it's really well written, but it is definitely not a light read, and I'm gonna need to read something just ridiculous afterwards. But yeah, I am loving it though. It's definitely, I would say, worth the hype. The next book we have is a book that I really, really want to get to, and that is All My Rage by Sabaa Tahir. If you know me, you know I love Sabaa Tahir. I love her work. I love her. She writes fantasy, and her fantasies are incredible. No one does it like her. And this is her debut contemporary fiction novel that is semi-autobiographical. And I just can't wait to get to it. It's about Maryam, who marries Tawfiq. Maryam is a dreamer. No. It's about... Wait, I should... This debut novel starts in Lahore. We are following Misbah, who is a dreamer that marries Tawfiq. But when tragedy strikes their lives, they are forced to move to America in search of a better life. Fast forward to present day, Noor and Sal are best friends, more like siblings. They've known each other since forever. But when a huge fight happens, a falling out occurs, and Sal is now left scrambling to manage the family motel while Noor dreams of escaping off to college. When Sal's attempts to manage the motel spiral out of control, Noor must decide what to do with herself, her dreams, and her relationship with Sal, and is forced to make some difficult choices. This present day is in California, and the past is in Lahore, Pakistan, and I feel like as a Desi girly who is from Pakistan too, I think I need to read this, and I need to know how this could go. And and Sabaa Tahir just writes incredibly powerful characters, and I feel like this would just really move me. Like I've seen quotes and I love it, and I want to read it. The final section of this video is non-fiction / memoirs, and we are discussing two books here. The first one being Beyond the Wand by Tom Felton. Listen, this book is for the Harry Potter girlies, for the Harry Potter fans, the girls who grew up watching Harry Potter like me. Our man Tom Felton, who plays Draco Malfoy, the iconic blonde-haired bleached villain, he has twirled his wand and wrote a book about the whole journey. Tom Felton rose to stardom in his earlier films called The Borrowers and skyrocketed to fame through obviously the Harry Potter movies and by playing the iconic classic villain that we love. And he just became the center of pop culture. And he wrote his whole journey, what it meant, what it was like starting out, what it was like on set in this book. And I can't wait to get my hands on it. Like, words can't express how excited I am for this one. And to just know the behind the scenes and all of that stuff and his relationship with the rest of the cast. Just another way for me to get back into this world that I love. The next book we have is Green Lights by Matthew McConaughey, and this is again for the this is again for me and for the rom-com girlies, the girlies who grew up on early 2000s rom-coms. Our man Matthew McConaughey was in the classic How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, Failure to Launch, and even in Interstellar. Like, this man can do it all, and he wrote a book about his whole journey, really truly giving beauty and brains. And this book is just filled with poetry, with pictures, with life lessons that he learned and kind of forgot, and the tips on how to live a great life and what it was like, I guess, being in Hollywood and everything he's learned since then. And I just feel like it's written in his classic voice, his classic humor. Like, I think I'm just gonna devour this. Like, this is gonna be insane and I'm gonna love this, and I can't wait to get to this one too. So yeah, that is it for this video. This was a long one because I have a ton of books that I want to read this fall. Rarely do I get to all of them, but this time I am genuinely hoping to read every single one, even if that means reading some of these in winter. Like, I'm totally fine with that. I need to just get to them because I am genuinely excited for every single book I talked about. That's all for this video. I hope you guys liked the selection of books that I talked about, and comment down below telling me what books you want to put on your own TBRs. I will see you guys in another video. Until then, take care, and I love you, and I hope you look after yourself. Bye.